What is going on, guys? This is Malcolm back with another video, and this is our continuation on our book review series. So we are on book 11, and we're going to be looking at the Eclipse of God by Erwin W. Lutzer. So this book was a pretty good book. I just decided to read it because I got this. Well, a little backstory will actually go on this book is that I got this book. I was attending a service at my church, and the author of this book came to the service, and he gave a sermon. It was a really great sermon, and the sermon, at the end of the sermon, he was promoting this book, and the sermon was just so great that I just said that I had to get this, pick up a copy of his book. So I did, and this was maybe, I would say, like in the fall or so. So this was on my backlog when I was creating this reading list for this year, and it was always a book I wanted to get. So yeah, I just decided, since we were reading a lot of philosophy, and we were reading about morality and things of that nature, this kind of just felt right when I looked at my shelf, and so I decided to read it. So first, I think the first time I read like half of this book, and then like throughout the week I just kind of took a bit more time. This is going to be uploaded on Monday, but I finished this book a little bit before, so definitely the philosophy, Immanuel Kant and Nietzsche have been benefiting in overall reading skills, because I was able to read this really fast. I also do attribute to Mr. Erwin making this pretty easy to read, or it's not super dense, so it was pretty easy to kind of get through this. If you can kind of look at the pages, if this will focus, if you can get a look at the pages, the words are not very dense compared to like Immanuel Kant. The words are just a lot more dense, so this book was pretty straightforward. It had some good historical references. Pretty much like what the backstory about this book is that it is about the, I guess you could say, like current disposition or the mental or ideological outlook of people and God of today. So kind of like what people are looking at God from, a biblical perspective. And it just kind of goes into detail, or just kind of brings up some points about all of that. And it is pretty, his ways to express, or him bringing up, I guess, the current problems with the ideology of the church, or way that the church kind of looks at God, was pretty good, and he brings up some great points about that. So I really liked, like I said, I liked the sermon, so I really liked this book, and I had to pick up this book, and it's been a book I've been really eager, it's been on my soul to read this, so I knew that I had to read this, and I do not regret reading this. It ties in a lot to the current writers we've been reading about, Nietzsche, who was influenced by Immanuel Kant and those things, so it talks about the current, those philosophers, and, the Nietzsche was famous for saying that, God is dead, and so kind of that philosophical outlook, or that analysis or assertion, was something that influenced the postmodern world, and is the reason why we have this train of thought. So it was just really great to kind of put that in there. So I'd say, like, if you've read Nietzsche, then you'll have a good understanding of this from a Christian perspective, and if you're a Christian, it can give you some outlook on that. But this is a really good book. The cover art's pretty nice. I really liked that part about it. And it did, like I said, have some great theology in here about just salvation, just about, how God looks at sin and things of that nature. So definitely something that helped me grow in my faith and open up my theology and understanding. So Erwin is a great writer. Mr. Lutzer is a great writer. A great speaker. So I definitely recommend checking him out. and I would definitely recommend reading this book if you can. I give this book like a 4 out of 10, just based on that. He also has a big idea about truthiness and like objective truth versus subjective, or the subjective truth that they're in, if there even is subjective truth. And he kind of goes into the basis of that and kind of talks about why you need to have objective truth and why you can't just have subjective truth and say that everything is the same, and because then there's no rules and everything. So he goes through these concepts very well and very great. So this is a great book, and we're going to move on to our 12th book this week. We're going to keep chugging along. Do I know what I'm going to read? I don't know. Actually, I've already picked the book. So I'm actually going to be reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So I've actually already started reading that. I don't know why I was saying that, but yeah, so I've already done that. So I'll see you guys next week with the next review. Hope you guys like this video. And this is Malcolm Moss signing off. Peace out.